Okay guys, this is Croy and here is part 2 of our series. Um, we ended up beating the last guy we played and we have a nice chip lead on a AKI mix, and now we're getting ready to re-register things after that set of matches just finished. And we've rivered a flush here, but we're just going to check down. Not really much value in betting it, so... Alright, looks like this. And we have a 550 that just filled too. So we have 3 matches going on now. Gonna just follow up with a fire 1 barrel, and he insta-min raised us, so we're not gonna get killed. We'll just fold. We still have a not solid chip lead. Just got the hello fish from this guy, so just not gonna assume that he's not very good. It's not really a thing good players say. Gonna fire out a bet here. I expect him to call us a lot. He likes to mix it up in pots. I'm gonna fire off another barrel here. I think this will work a high percentage of the time, and gonna shove the river even if he calls. Just don't want to become too predictable. And it seems I believe I played him 4 or 5 times today, so I don't want to just create just a simple image, and I want to be able to mix things up against him. Turn to straight here. We're just going to call, and river counterfeits us, and he shoves. So we're just gonna fold. Also 3 to a flush out there. Pretty scary. Gonna check behind here. Don't want to make a bet to commit us to the pot. I think he has a jack and a king a lot here, so I'm just gonna open fold. I'm gonna fold this turn pair of 9s. I think it's important to not really fall in love with your hands too much and just say, well, I turned a pair, I have to call. Definitely don't have to. We called a 3-bet here with the 9-8. We're gonna call, and if the turn doesn't bring a club, we're probably gonna get it in. So we'll just check behind. And he shoves the river on us. Interesting spot here. I think we have a lot of our stack in the pot, but I think we're going to fold anyways. Yeah, don't really feel too good about it. And plus, I think we can make a comeback, but we stuck in a lot of chips there. And just kind of went into autopilot mode on that one. Gonna pot it here with these kings. We've been playing pretty aggressive from the big blind. Not a good flop for us, ace high, but I think he's jamming in a lot of aces, so we're getting it in here against him. And if he has an ace, so be it. And he folds. Not getting quite a good enough price for this flush draw, so I'm going to fold that also. I like to jam in random king high hands against a player like him at the 25-50. I don't like with 10 big blinds, I think that's pretty standard. Just like this is just pretty standard, getting these hands in. And we lost that one. Just going to call with the king high. I think SASAK is pretty light here, so I'm gonna take a flop with this A7. I don't really recommend doing this often, but just the timing of his raise, I can picture him getting frustrated easily with the way the match has gone so far. So I'm gonna call. We flop middle pair. Not a bad flop. He checks to us. We'll check behind. Now he bets a pretty small bet. We're gonna look him up and see what he has. And we rivered a pretty good card. Now we're just going to make a bet that he probably won't believe, and see if he'll call us. If he does have a pair like tens or jacks, he'll probably call us. Just based on the bet sizing, looks like a bluff. And he's contemplating it, so that's a good sign. And he did call. With what I would guess would probably be nines through jacks. Now he actually had a king. Wow, king 5. Interesting. So yeah, we were right pre-flop about not being a believer in that raise. Got pretty fortunate. He flopped the king, and we rivered an ace. So we rivered a 7. So that was pretty nice. This match is not going so nice against David. We have to finish off AKI mix here. And after this, probably just going to decline a rematch and get all the tables on stars going. And focus more on registering there and just probably shut down full tilt for the day. Not going to get cute. He's pretty short. SASAK. So we're not going to get too cute with him. Just try to grind him down. Fold our ace side to him here. I do think this turn is a pretty good spot to bluff. And the river, we're just betting, hoping that he might call us down pretty light. I'm just going to jam in this Jack 10. I jam in a lot of hands randomly. I don't really want to become too predictable. Like I said, and he beat us into the pot with the ace 8. Flopped an ace. And we couldn't catch up. So now we're pretty close to even, down a little bit. But I like doing random things like that from time to time, especially when you're playing an opponent who you've played a few times. You don't, like, I'm just keep stressing this, you don't want to fall into just a consistent pattern of playing hands. So mix it up a little bit. The Jack 10, you're not going to be in bad shape against tons of hands, so I like doing that occasionally. Just fold our king high. I usually like to err on the side of caution when folding, like unless an opponent has really taken advantage of just seeing us fold, then I'll usually believe him. We're getting our aces in here. Should be good almost all the time against SASAK. and we held there for a pretty big win whenever struggling on these other tables. Just folding an open ender here. Sometimes I'd raise that, sometimes I'd call, just based on his min bet. I think he was sticking there with a 10, or maybe at a 7. Again, I think he plays fairly straightforward, so we're not going to get too tricky with him. Firing out a quick bet here, and he folds. And the one hand we've had down here against David is the hand where he decides to fold. So, pretty unlucky. Alright, flopped a gut shot, gonna bet half pot. Something felt a little suspicious about that timing. But we flopped a pretty good flop for our hand, and I like min betting here more than 120, just because the 120 I think he's going to call that with ace high just as easily as the 60. Just going to give up on the river. Going to check and try to get value on a blank river. It's a pretty good river. And just bet 120 pretty quick. Going to jam in this ace 10. We have less than 10 big blinds. So I like just jamming that handed. I'm going to call here with this queen deuce and try to spike something on that flop. No luck, and we play, and we fold. Haven't really played too well this match. I want to review the hands of this match afterward. There are a lot of things I've been doing that I really don't like. And again, when we have another pair, he folds. Pretty good intuition by him. Gonna jam this 10 deuce. Also going to jam this king 4. Going to go for a bluff check raise here. He's been min betting a ton of flops. I think that's a pretty good flop to do it on. Don't give him credit for a 10 too often. And now hopefully we're making a little comeback here against him. We're gonna start probably pounding it pretty aggressively and make him wake up with the hand. I think that's our best method of success right now. Jamming these two 10s. Jamming an ace high. And then once we get back to even, we can we're pretty close to even right now. Then we can just play our normal style. Unlucky running a king jack into his ace jack, but we hit running miracles to stick alive. So now we have to try to beat him for his comments earlier. and hopefully hit a few hands along the way. Gonna put in a little baby raise value. I think he'll call with a lot less. And he folds. His bet on the river looked like value too, so I'd guess on the turn we can't automatically give him credit for a 9, but on the river that appears to be what he might have had. Because he did contemplate it for a little bit, but eventually folded. Just going to jam in this King 7. And if he's calling us with hands like Ace 5, I don't really mind jamming this in. And it held. We lost. Not too good of a match there. I'm just going to shut down full tilt. So yeah, we had one good match against SASAK and one pretty bad one against AKI mix. And now we got to finish off David here. Call with our middle pair. Turn brings the flush and pairs of 5, and see what he does in the river. Pausing, thinking about it. I think he knows that we have a 7 and is trying to. That's just my initial feeling. A lot of times this is just a pretty easy fold, and since we timed out, it was an easy fold. But I think I should have called there, just based on him taking that time, and it was pretty. Our hand was pretty easily defined as a jack with no kicker, and or jack and no kicker, or a 7. Because I don't think he thinks that we're going to be tricky, which we are, but he doesn't think so. This is the 224 man. Our partner's already in, so we can't let him down. Gonna fire off a min bet. I like this tactic at these blinds. Turn gave us a pretty good card, so we're gonna fire a second barrel and see where he's at. And most likely I think that'd be a 4. And that's probably going to fold a lot to a turn bet. Going to jam in this ace-jack here. 550 just filled. And we'll just fold. Not a good board to catch a bluff on. We're just going to jam in our Queen 9 here. It's a good hand, has a lot of value, and we just got a lot of tables at once. Alright, another 550 and another 220. Jamming in our ace high here. Gonna put in a quick min raise, see how he responds to that. I don't think he has an ace here, really, ever. I don't think he's gonna limp an ace. I think he would min raise an ace, but he just calls. Kind of curious to see. I still really don't think he has an ace. the turn just kills our hand. I think he will have a hand like king high a lot, and yeah, unfortunate for us. Probably should have tried to make a move, and as shown in this chat box, did get owned. So unfortunate for us. I'm going to resize these tables a little bit so that we can fit them all. The real chat can be pretty tilting sometimes, so a lot of times it's just not worth giving them that time of day. As I said in the last video, whatever you guys want out of content in these videos, just let me know. I'm pretty open-minded with what to do. This is really first or second time using Camtasia, so I'm pretty open-minded with what stakes you guys want me to play, and if you want me to go into more detail on certain aspects, whether it be early game, late game, and so yeah, just let me know. Just shoot me an email. It's CroixDawg at HeadsUp HUSNG.com, and we're gonna fold this 7-8. We made a triple, and I don't like. I kind of regret tripling now, but don't have too much value. Calling, insta-ing with the ace jack. I'm not gonna bluff here against this guy. I'm just gonna let him have it. We picked up a flush draw, and we flopped a gutter to the nut straight, but didn't come in. Jamming with 8 high here. A lot of it's about random timing when you expect that they will believe that you have a hand, and when they'll expect that you won't. If you've shoved a bunch of times in a row and you get a hand dealt to you like ace king, I wouldn't do anything different like limp. I would shove that also, and they'll probably call you a lot later since they've seen that you've been doing it a few times. It's been about the third or fourth time, just getting to that point that he's shoved on us. So our king eight's better than an average hand. So I think we're gonna call. And peel. We're up against king 3, so we made the right call. Good flop for us. Good turn, good river, and we'll tell him good game. Let's look at the chip counts of. We just got min raised down here, off of a min raise. Typically a sign of a not very good player. Flop middle pair, we'll bat it out. See how he responds to that. Got min raised. Gonna call. Peel off a card. We rivered our queen, so we're gonna bet 320, and I think we're gonna get called a lot. If he has any piece, he's calling. So we have a solid lead, down a little bit to the guy who min raised us, and about dead even against Stir It Up. These are both we're gonna 3-bet Stir It Up here with the 9-10. Insta calls us, and we'll try to represent the ace on the turn. Also going to look up this guy with the 2-10s, and he flopped a straight on us. That representing the turn ace, I like that a lot. A lot of times, if you just c-bet right away, they just won't give you credit. And we've been steamrolling them so far, so we have a monster hand here. So we wanted to keep betting it, and unfortunately folded. That's the worst flop for our 2-8s against Bo Sox. Yeah, we've been running Stir It Up over so far, and we're gonna jam this Ace King. Don't really mind if he calls with whatever he does. Ace Jack, and like I like to do, I peel. Bad window for us. Decent turn, bad river. And he gave us the nice hand jinx. But that's what happens whenever you're steamrolling someone. That anytime they pick up anything, they'll always think you're like, even though you aren't bluffing. If you think that they perceive that you're steamrolling them, then they will then they'll call off a lot later. And like he just never thought with that Ace Jack. I can understand. I mean, he was getting short, but never an afterthought. Alright, getting this flopped straight. Backdoor club drawing against his. Alright, we're in great shape here. Hopefully there's no Jack or 6 coming. Alright, so we doubled up here. So the match we were down in, and the 2 matches we were in alright shape in, have kind of flip-flopped. Keep up the aggression against Stir It Up. And obviously not folding that flush draw here. That would be a board that I would expect to coordinate with his hand a lot. But again, we have the nut flush draw. He'd get it in there probably with a hand like King 8 too. So there's some hands we'd be ahead of, but a lot of times I'd expect that board to coordinate with his hand pretty well. I do like the way we've played down. We've made a few hands, and we've taken him off of a few hands with pretty well-timed aggression. As you can see, we've won a majority of the pots. Another hand we're not ever folding. Just going to check this ace high. It'd be pretty good for us, I think, if an ace flopped. I'm just going to give it up to him. perfect board for us here with the jacks. He's definitely getting in any 10, any straight draw. Bad turn, but I really don't put him on an ace. So we're gonna get this in here. If he has an ace, if he has it, so be it. But I don't put him on an ace there too often, and it looks like we are going to be in bad shape. To the 10-5, but we rivered him. Yay! It's kind of a tough hand to see coming. The 10-5 suited, so I'm just going to flat with the 2 kings here. Flopping quads, it's always good. We're just going to bet out 100. Probably call that. I don't really like checking the river to him there. I think he'll check behind a lot. We'll see what his actual hand was. Ace high. So we probably got max value out of him there. Now we've taken another lead on him. It's a tough hand to see coming up here against Bosocks. You can't really ever see that the 10-5 coming. A hand like 10-9 maybe, but yeah, it's pretty unavoidable getting it in. And we'll expect him to call that, and we'll take that one down. So we've been making pretty good sized value bets against Stirred Up. I'd expect him there to have what was the turn? A 5? Probably a 5. And he had 2 jacks, so he's trying to get tricky and trap us, since we've been raising so often from the big blind. Call with our gut shot. That's very deceptive, and we'll peel it. We'll call one more now that we picked up a flush draw, and fold now that we missed. Make these tables a little larger. Our opponent here, Geckel, has been very aggressive, taking a lot of pots off of us. So we're gonna have to really. He's been playing really fast, so we're gonna have to look for a nice spot to trap him. Don't like that river, but it doesn't matter. All right, cut some action at 3:30. Against a pretty aggressive player like him, you don't really want to be playing trash hands from the button. You don't really want to be limping in really uncoordinated hands like 10-5. Not really hands like 10-3, even though it is suited. But against an opponent like Stirred Up, who we're able to take down a lot of pots off, and really we've been able to value bet him and put him on hands pretty precisely, then I will raise those hands. So it's not just about the hand that you're playing. I'm actually gonna shove this Queen 9, expecting a lot of fold equity, and he did fold. And we're jamming in this Ace 6 here against Geckel, against Ace Jack, unfortunately. Jamming in King High from the button. It looks like we got lucky against Geckel, but it's just pretty standard procedure. Let's see if RE7 can beat his King Queen. Great flop for us. Great turn. Great game. It's not really the way you like to do it, though, getting getting lucky like that, but we'll take it. So he flopped a king here. We're going to play this pretty fast against Stir It Up, hoping he'll call with a jack. Jamming a king high from the button against Stir It Up against his ace-9. Flopped a king, turned an ace, river break. So now down about 17 to 13. Against him, I think I'm going to start limping. I don't think he's going to shove over my limps too often, since he's folded the button pretty often. So I'm going to start limping and try to play some small ball. Really, the cards in this instance really don't matter too much. I'm just going to try to play small ball against him and see if I can grind it back up to where I'm in shipping mode. And again, he folds another button. And I'm not folding ace-jack here, even though we ran into 2 jacks. It's just an unlucky hand. We have a flush draw here against Alcaraz. We're going to call and peel one. Now it turned into a gut shot. Looks like we hit an ace up here. Wow, just getting lucky all over the place this session. But we did lose the ace-jack to the ace. Our ace-king to his ace-jack earlier, so I don't feel too bad. Got to fold on this turn. Too much of a bad. If he doesn't shove the turn and bets somewhere around probably the 350-ish range, then I think we can call and try to peel our flush or straight. Anything more, I think it's just worth dumping with the stack size the way they were. Alright, this is in the final of a 220. Let's see if we can. Whoops. So now I'm going to cut off this. I'm going to cut off this session and record the third one. Hopefully, both these matches will still be running. So I'll talk to you guys in a little.